Hey y'all, welcome back to my series. Today I'm here joined with Marcus Booth. You guys might know him as BaseJeezus, videographer, animator, visual effects artist, etc. And today we're going to be learning more about how he operates his business, his day-to-day life in the field, and just get to know more about his creative side. So, hey Base.
What's good? I'm so glad to be here.
So glad.
So glad to be here.
And I'm glad to have you here too because, you know, excellence deserves recognition.
Respect.
And I am excited to just learn more about you because me and Base have been in the same room just a few times, but I've never really gotten to know you, you know?
I remember the first time we met, it was, shout out Zebo. It was because we was BMXing or biking uptown.
BMX, and we saw DUWAP, but we didn't know that we saw DUWAP.
Wait, did we really saw that?
Those kids were like, DUWAP right there.
Oh yeah. No. I forgot.
And we were like,
about that.
yeah, right. And then we saw the music video and we're like, oh my God, DUWAP was right there.
Oh wow, that sparked that. I forgot all about.
Yeah.
That was
in Ramire Bearden Park.
Yeah.
They were shooting that video and we're like, DUWAP is not there. And then the music video came out and we're like, oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, because him and Lil Boosie was in town. So yeah, I remember that one.
Can you please give us an introduction of who you are and just tell us more about who you were growing up, your upbringing, like who was Base before he was BaseJeezus?
Oh, before he was BaseJeezus. Growing up, I was more or less somebody that was always interested in like, you know, doing like technology stuff. Like I had like video games. I used to play like a lot of RPG games online. I was somebody that was always on the computer searching the internet. I was one of those like, you know, people like that. I started getting into like video editing. I think like I discovered like Windows Movie Maker on like the computer,
classic.
like on the, you know, classic, you know, on the family computer. And I was making like little like dance videos with like my friends at the time. And then and then on top of that, I was making like action figure videos, kind of like how like typical 11-year-olds would do, like stupid stuff. I even had like a PlayStation Portable to PSP. I was making PSP tutorials on how to download music. I was tapped in. I'm trying to tell you.
For the community.
I was tapped in. It was like in the early days of YouTube. It progressed to me like still being like a gamer because I grew up being a gamer for real. I meet like community of people online and stuff like that. And then one of the guys online that I was friends with at the time, he gave me like Sony Vegas Pro, which is like my first like real editing like software. After that, I kind of just was just sitting in the house and kind of just learn it. And then my dad, he brought me like a DSLR camera for like my 16th birthday. And at this time, like I was kind of like making like music videos and stuff for like, you know, people around the community. I think at this time I was charging like $40. Friend group at the time in high school, we were kind of like the creative, weird people because like we would make music, dance, and all this other stuff. So it was kind of labeled as weird back in high school. Now, I'm kind of establishing a team of people because I've been a one-man army for so long that I kind of want to like have other people help me out on bigger productions, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to establish my own team within the new media company that I recently made called Digital Monarch Studios. So that's kind of like a universal thing. I'm trying to be able to film, edit. We put together motion graphics, a little bit of everything that you can think of media integration wise. That's what I'm trying to do.
I feel like we just finished the interview right there.
Uh-oh.
What?
Question time.
Questions. Listen, I don't hold back. I'm just gonna read off of it for this one. This one's really long. Okay, so you're originally from Greeneville. What prompted your move and how did it affect your work and commissions once you moved from there to Charlotte? Did you already have a name in Charlotte or did you have to hustle to get your name out there? Did you start from the bottom? Tell us all about the move.
I like that. Okay, so I moved from Greeneville to Charlotte like in the middle of the pandemic. So like this was like July 2020 and like prior I was already gonna move to Charlotte like it is because I have friends out here. Years ago before I even moved, maybe like 2017, I filmed my first music video out here with a guy named Young Ill. He really introduced me to like the Charlotte scene and stuff like that. And through him I met like 10 cell phones and many other people because I would come back and forth to shoot videos. People already kind of knew who I was before I, you know, came out here. People all used to think even like at my old college that I was from Charlotte, but I'm really from like a country town. And what really motivated me to move out here more just because of like just more opportunity. And then like I wanted to still be near like my parents because I'm going to be basically off on my own but not too far away. Like I would use SoundCloud for like networking. I still use SoundCloud to this day. SoundCloud is like my favorite app. I think one day I randomly typed in like Charlotte artists and seen like a whole bunch of people come up like NASCAR Aloe, a little bit of everybody. So then I was just like liking some of their stuff, listen to their music, and then eventually find them on social media on like Instagram. and then just kind of like reach out to them. And that's kind of how I like came about out here. But my commissions actually grew moving to a bigger city. But when I came here to Charlotte, like I was making like literally twice as much as money versus me being like in my old hometown / college, stuff like that. So it grew. I
usually save these types of questions for the middle, but I'm gonna hit you with it right now. Don't be stressed.
I'm not. I'm chilling.
Can we get a background on where Base... Wait, I want to look at you in the... Wait, don't answer the question yet. He was about to tell us right now. Okay, can we get a background on where the name BaseJeezus came from? Because to my knowledge, before this you were Mark LeStunt.
Oh.
So how did we go from Mark LeStunt to BaseJeezus?
That's crazy though, that you really, cause like that's like an old Twitter name or like an old, Tumblr. I don't even know where that name came from. I think it was across like so many platforms. But BaseJeezus, when Instagram first came on, BaseJeezus, cause I was listening to Lil B at the time. Like I was a huge Lil B fan, Lil B the bass guy. I didn't want to make something close to that, but I kind of just made BaseJeezus. At first it was Base.
I was gonna ask why you dropped the D.
Cause so many people was calling me Base. Okay, well let me just drop the D, and then for copyright purposes, one day, once I, and people used to look at me like, Jesus. Like, no, like JEEZUS. Like every time I had to sign something, people would be like, what's your Instagram name? Or what's your, production name? BaseJeezus. And they'd be like, Jesus. Like, no, it's not nothing with religion or anything like that. It's just literally how it's just spelled because of Lil B. And I had to give them the whole Lil B background too, so.
Yeah, shout out to Lil B.
Shout out to Lil B.
You touched on this earlier about Digital Monarch Studios. Can you tell us more about that? Can we get a...
Okay, so Digital Monarch Studios is legit a universal production company that I made this past year, where I can like bring different creatives under eventually and have like us do different media, anything media wise, like graphics, 2D stuff. I want to have like, like a director of photography. I want to have like different, camera operators. I made Digital Monarch Studios as something that's going to be big as Paramount within the next 15 to 20 years. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I made it like that. Plus I made it off of the strength of, me working for a production company before, and I was kind of under bad leadership, and it kind of like inspired me to like basically make my own production company.
You kind of talked about like you worked for a previous organization. Is there anything more you want to add to that? Like the struggles of working under someone else, bad experience?
I feel like the struggles of working somebody else, it's big when y'all not on the same page whatsoever. I guess maybe age played a factor because like the guy at the time was maybe like 10 years older than me. He didn't really give my like opinion or kind of give me like a chance to really like show my outlook on certain stuff and like how to like, what the music is nowadays in my specific crowd, you know what I'm saying? I just really wasn't being heard in the situation. I'm fresh out of school looking for like for me to really start into like my career how I want to in music. We had like a studio running at a music factory, and I just met him because like I was gonna just come there and just help. I know you have like the recording studio, you got trying to set up a photography studio in here in this room. You're trying to really set up a whole media outlet. So I'm like, okay, bro, like I'm so I'm about to really help you for real. But it kind of just turned into us kind of just like not seeing eye to eye. Then I was getting shorted on pay one time. Like it was crazy. Kind of had to like fire myself out of that situation because like I was locked into the point to where like my clients had to come to that studio, and that studio was gonna be their clients. I had to do what I do to get out of there within a month of me being there. So I would like kind of like defer them in a way, but I'll kind of say like my commissions were kind of close because I didn't want to bring nobody there. Afterwards, like after I got out of that, I felt a sense of relief, but at the same time, like I've never been depressed before or even felt any like emotions of depression, or would even consider myself as a depressed person. But I definitely did feel like I definitely was at like a down part within my career at that point. And it kind of got me like, well, what I'm gonna do now? Luckily, I was able to get like my old job back that I quit with, because I was so cool with the manager. So I was able to get my old job back within like a week of that, happening or whatever. But at that point, I kind of was just grinding and started establishing my own team because I just didn't want to be like that with my own, you know what I'm saying? If I'm about to be a manager of a production company, I want to make sure everybody's fair, everybody gets treated the same, like no funny stuff, nobody's getting used, none of that stuff. Like that's kind of what I ran into, and like that kind of got me like, had me on the outlook on the industry, like, okay, I really need to protect myself, because I see there's people that like, when I'm coming in contact, that's in like of status. Cause like even when I was at that production company, I got like 2 videos on World Star that I edited. I mean, my credit isn't in there because like even we agreed, cause I was a partner company and that was a company, we eventually agreed to like just do business together, and I still get the credit on whatever I did. I think a couple of videos, I didn't even get my credit in the videos. So like technically I made them, but they're like sitting at like almost $500,000 at World Star, but don't nobody knew I edited them.
Well, I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was an eye opener. I feel like I needed that to happen so I can really realize my true worth and not let nobody interfere me. And I know I can do this on my own. And that's kind of what I've been doing ever since. Like I've been doing what I've been doing even before I came to that place, and now even on a bigger scale. Hey, it's weird people out here. If you're in the industry, just be careful. There's weird people like that's all I gotta say.
What are some of the unknown struggles of being a videographer, visual effects, animator, everything that you do? What are some unknown things that people don't see? But also, what are some of the highs too?
I know one struggle for sure is like, and every videographer can relate to this, if you send a client back a video and they be like, oh, I really like this video, but I want you to change the song. Well, dang, I just edited the song to the video, so now I gotta change the whole video. That's one unknown struggle I feel like every single videographer can relate to, no matter what. Because I had to do this so many times, like I had to switch the song, and now it's gonna take like another like week and a half, so just so I can like
you basically
fix it
starting
together
from scratch.
So now I don't even try to like edit to the songs no more. A high, I don't know, man, just being able to display and showcase your skill set amongst people, doing new things and trying new methods out that are like, you know, that's like, oh wow, like I've been trying to figure out how to do that for the longest, like this specific edit, or like having a plug-in that you've been wanting for a long time, you finally got. I feel like those are like natural highs that come from being a videographer, like especially just being creative. You know, you want to make every video that you do better, you know what I'm saying, like over time. So I feel like if you just learn some new things and apply it to your projects every time, that's just one of the things that just makes it work better and better, than, you know, gives you like that high every time.
I heard you compare Greeneville and Charlotte a little bit, but I see that you do work in ATL a lot. You're really like an East Coast beast.
Oh wow, appreciate that.
Beast Coast.
Beast Coast.
Base Coast.
Base Coast.
Can you just kind of compare like clientele, the experience of just shooting in that city? Like it's a different experience shooting, editing your clients, what they ask for, the music, like kind of everything.
I feel like with Greeneville specifically, like, and that's home, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I started out. It's creativeness there, but it's not so much where it's a broader spectrum like how it is in Charlotte and ATL. Like most of the artists I run into, maybe I might have came across like a couple of R&B artists, but around there, everybody want to rap. And it's cool and all that everybody want to rap, but it just has to be unique. Like I really get like a lot of the same stuff. And I still to this day see the same stuff in Greeneville, like the same type of artists making the same type of like music in a sense in Greeneville. And it's nothing against them. It's just like I've been in different, like I even like did work out in LA before. So I've like been in different like spaces where like everybody's like bending the spectrum of like what music sound like. And in here, especially with it being here, like I come across different music all the time. Alternative music that I be coming across. Like I'm trying to work on a country video with somebody. Like I'm just trying to like just do the works, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I see like there's like a whole different spectrum here versus how it is over there. Like it's R&B. I've dealt with like a lot of like R&B artists out here. I've dealt with my first Afro hip hop artist that I met out here as well too, you know what I'm saying? So like I feel like there's different genres and like it's a different pit bull versus over there, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not as hip to what's going on here and in Atlanta. In Atlanta, I can go on in Atlanta like all day long. Atlanta's like with everything. That's really the birthplace of like, you know, it could almost be, well, it's the birthplace of Southern hip hop, let's put it like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, it's the birthplace of hip hop, because somebody from New York would be like, oh, I object.
You know, I know you are a big Pro Era fan, Odd Future. You and I kind of share that together, because I was a huge OF fan, Pro Era fan, until this very day. Do you think that liking that type of music and all that type of stuff, those are such creative people, do you think that kind of shaped you and your creativeness?
Yes, it definitely did. Oh my gosh, when 1999 came out, like Waves, that was a really, really good album. I grew up listening to like Joey Badass. Yeah, they definitely shaped who I am to this day. I still listen to their, whenever I go on my YouTube favorites, stuff like that, I still listen to their music, but my music taste now is just like all over the place. Like I'm like electric, alternative, like I'm in like some of the, I even listen to stuff that's like, I'm embarrassed to play on the aux when other people is in the car, not cause of the lyrics, but I might like certain, like a symbol, or I might like certain sounds and stuff like, and they won't understand why. They're gonna be like, oh, this sounds so stupid, why are you listening to this? So like, that's literally like my whole SoundCloud though. So, and I feel like with SoundCloud too, it gives me like, it brings like my creativeness, because I'm like coming across so much people that's like bending the shape and bending the horizon of what music should sound like. So it makes me more creative as well too. Just hearing somebody else be creative to what they can do.
On the topic of music, during your Mark LaStunt days.
The Mark LaStunt days, Mark LaStunte with the E.
You know, you're talking about you hear a symbol that you might like or whatever. Mm-hmm. Do you recall what night shift is?
The mix, right? Yeah, so yo, I wish I never deleted the mixes on SoundCloud. I had way more on SoundCloud.
Yeah, we have one song on YouTube, but there's one song from that on YouTube. I don't know why the description says this, but you're like available from January to March, and I'm like, we can only listen to this for 3 minutes.
It was that beat, wasn't it?
I don't know. Listen, I'm asking you to tell me what night shift is. Okay,
I'm trying to figure out, because I know I made a mix called Night Shift, and I also made like, I think like a random beat. At the same time, like I said, this was a collective in middle school. If you mention the Night Shift, if it's the beat that I made that had like available from like January to whatever, that was in middle school. So this was like a random beat. I can't even remember what place I made it off of or what app I made it off of, but it was with like amongst me and like 2 other guys in middle school. I don't think we never actually made any like raps behind it. I think I just produced that beat and then that was it.
But yeah, Night Shift is not available on all streaming platforms, but there is one beat available on YouTube.
And there's also the mix on SoundCloud. That's called Bass for Apple Radio, Night Shift, and it's like collectives of songs that I made that I didn't make, but I just made it together as like a random DJ mix over time. That's on SoundCloud. So.
Well, maybe I'll use the beat if it's non-copyrighted in the back of this video, just over and over, over and over. If I get a copyright strike, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be like, you did not make that beat.
I already know.
My last music-related question is Southside by DUWAP KAINE still one of the craziest songs you've ever heard?
Yo, that song, man, I ain't gonna hold you. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. Like literally of all. I don't know what it is about the song, but it's just like I remember being in college, bro. Like I was going through like a crazy breakup. And like the song literally made everything better. Like I think there was times where I know it's on SoundCloud still, like where I'm just like, yo, it's one of the best songs of mine, like entirely I've ever heard. Like I don't know what, I think I told one of my friends at one point in time, like, yo, this should be played at my wedding. But I was just kidding though, I wouldn't play nothing like that at my wedding. But like, that's how strongly I feel about the song. But yeah, Southside, definitely Southside by KAINE. Definitely Southside by DUWAP KAINE. Shout out DUWAP KAINE.
I did see like a week ago you posted like a tutorial for animation. Yep. Step by step.
Step by step.
Why is it important to you to share the sauce among people? It's like you already got enough on your plate. Why is it important to you to, not only are you telling people how to do it, but you have to edit that video too, right? Yeah. So that is more work for you. Why is it important to you to spread that knowledge across the world?
I feel like when it comes to certain like edits and stuff, I kind of like was trying to figure out how to do them. Like I like looked at videos over time, like, dang, how does somebody do this? Or how do they do that? And I like looked at like Max Novak, was like another editor. He does like consistently puts out tutorials and stuff like that. So I try to give back to people that like really like look at my videos and like other videographers and like photographers that's within my niche that might want to see the creative process and like how certain videos are done. And I try to do that also too, to market and boost the music video I did it for. So I did that in response of putting a music video out that I did the tutorial for, because that was one of my favorite parts within that tutorial. Well, not tutorial, but that was one of my favorite parts within that video of how I like basically like did like a transition through his like eyeglass. And I talk about that all the time. So I try to like market on top of like, you know, giving back to subscribers and like to community. I want to like, you know, broaden your spectrum, you know, and find more and I want to do more like music video, like breakdown reviews. I did one on like Chief Keef's one time. So I want to do more.
Last question. Oh my God.
I finally made it through.
I love that you do director's recap, you know, yearly recap, director's cut. What is the official name? Director's
real,
reels?
real, yeah.
I was gonna say real, but I'm thinking Instagram reel.
Yeah, and I feel like the terminology now is just stupid. 'Cause that's really what, like, in director's terms and like, you know, like film world terms, when you think of real, you think of like the showcasing of whoever's videos that you've done over X amount of years or over this time or for this specific niche. So like when Instagram started implementing reels, now people are just thinking shorter videos. That's not the case. Reels means something completely different and more like serious.
Since the start of your career, is there like a top 3 videos you've ever done that you would say, these are my 3 favorite videos?
Definitely Jack Doyo, Play It Right, just because of the edits on it was just, it made me seem like I was in the coloring book. I like that one. The videos I made with Booth Pack Mookie, I like those two as well too, like especially occasions because it fits the vibe. Like, I feel like certain projects I've done, even though most of my work hit, personally to me, I have certain videos that really matches the actual song, you know what I'm saying, that matches what the song will, like, you know, sounds like. It's weird how to describe it, but I really feel like I have like a direct hit on certain videos. There was another video named with one of my other clients named Scar, and we did Ed, Ed and Eddie, and that was kind of when I first got my new camera, so that was kind of like a little unique video too, because I was looking at like a lot of Lone Wolf and Lucky around that time.
Great editor.
Great editor. That's where I got a lot of my, you know, current, like from maybe like 2017 to like now inspiration from, because like I just love the editing and stuff, like, and all like the scribble transitions, I started implementing that as well too.
Those were great picks.
Appreciate it.
And you have a lot of great videos to choose from throughout your career, but
Appreciate it.
A man of many interests, hobbies, talented young fellow right here.
Appreciate that.
Anything else that you want to talk about that I didn't ask? Anything you want to cover?
I got a little bit of advice, man. Going back to the whole production junk earlier that I was talking about, like if you end up doing business with somebody, especially if you're creative, definitely look into hiring an entertainment lawyer, especially if it gets serious. Especially when money is involved and it's thousands of dollars, or it's your work that's like on the line, like, hey, we've seen this right here, we want to use it for this amount of money or whatever. Or if you're about to be hired to like an actual company, always have like an entertainment lawyer if they present any type of paperwork for me. Cause it happened to me twice. Like I've done some work before and like people didn't abide by it, or it just wasn't what I wanted. And luckily it didn't mess up my career whatsoever, but like moving forward now, I'm definitely, if I ever run into the bigger artists and clients and stuff like that, I'm definitely having somebody on deck that can like look thoroughly to make sure like I don't get like the short end of anything. So that's one thing I can give to any like creatives or any like videographers that's looking to work with like B-list and A-list celebrities. Always have like an entertainment lawyer on deck or any type of contract set, so like y'all can like, you know, do business thoroughly and like you don't get like, you know, finessed.
Well, I think those are all of my questions for you, Base.
Turn up. I appreciate that. This was a funny interview. This was a great interview.
Thanks. You know, we like to have a good time.
It's a great interview.
I bring some food for the homies.
Yeah. Shout out to the Bojangles. That's you, bro.
Shout out to the Bojangles. I had Bojangles for the first time in over a year today. Chicken biscuit, bottled water, seasoned fries, and it was good.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And I finished half of it because I want to eat it later. That was that good.
That's what's up.
That is a wrap for this video. Shout out to Base for coming onto my series.
Appreciate you.
You can watch my last video, which was a couples quiz with Shell and Maria right here. And you can watch the video before that, which was my interview with Shot by Cozy. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for all the support. Follow me on Instagram and on Instagram only. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.